Congratulations on purchasing the shore set. I'm Martin Hall here with the inventor Dan Frost. Look, they've just got it. They're excited. What do they do with it?
Well, it's definitely time to set it up. It's all about calibration straight out of the box.
Okay.
We don't want to take too long with this. I want you to get straight into the exercise, so let's keep it really, really simple.
Okay.
It's all about the correct setting for your wrist and the correct length for the length of your arm.
Okay.
So all we do, V pointing up on the grip, we simply adjust the shore set towards us until it gets to setting 2. Setting 2 dictates a full swing. We're looking for a 90-degree wrist hinge full swing at the top. From here, we open the fastener and put the ball straight against the point between my upper left arm and chest and simply just push out until the left arm becomes straight. It's not rigid, it's just extended. That's really, really important. We do the fastener up, we tilt to the floor from the hip, little flex of the knees, bring the right hand in, and from here, it's time to experience the shore set for the first time. Simple rotations, getting a feel for how that shore set's going to carry your backswing. And that's how we start.
Okay, so let me just see you do that again. So not the calibration.
Okay.
I think the viewers will have that, the purchasers will have that. But if you just make that backswing, so I'm watching Dan do this, and you've got 2 start points, haven't you?
Yeah.
You have a start point where there is a touch point.
Yep.
What would you use this one for?
So for me, it's really, really important that we understand how the big muscles work.
Okay.
I want to switch your brain on to not the club and hands are going to move first, but it's going to be carried by a slightly bigger force. Torso, hips are going to lead the way. When we preset, and really simple here, a little bit of forward shuffling,
Yeah.
upward hinge,
Yeah.
gives me a touch point on the left-hand side. All we start to do from here is let the big muscles carry the swing. What you'll notice is the end of the club doesn't lead, the butt of the club moves in as we set the club and rotate to the top of backswing. That's really the first sensation to experience.
So let me see you set up to that again. I just want the viewers to be quite clear with this. As you make your touch point, if indeed you had a golf club, the golf club itself would be close to parallel to the ground.
Correct.
I think that's important to understand. So we're not actually working on the takeaway just yet. As Dan said, we're working on the contribution of the bigger muscles to get the club moving around the body. So one more time
Perfect.
with that, Dan.
So we're basically applying the hammer hinge or the wrist hinge, the upward movement, and then from here, and this is one other really key point, we keep our eyes down to where the ball would be.
Would you actually put a ball down there and look at it?
I would. I either pick a spot if I'm in
Mm-hmm.
my living room, the office, or if I'm out on the range, I'll definitely put a ball down
Mm-hmm.
or a tee or something. Because the real key here is that our face stays pointing towards what we want to hit.
Yeah.
We don't want to move up and away. It comes out of our
Correct.
peripheral, it goes into our peripheral vision. It wants to stay in our main vision. So I always look down. This allows the shoulders to tilt
Yes.
appropriately. And from here, I'm starting to build a golf swing where my hips and shoulders are going to start to experience what will probably feel a little bit more 3/4 wide and a bit more of a stretch.
Yeah, let's do that one more time. You said a word there, and I think it's really important for the viewers to know this. I mean, we're both teachers. We've got a product we love. We're selling it, but we're both teachers as well. So make your backswing and stop. You'll see here how largely, if I drew a line through Dan's shoulders, it's pointing almost at the golf ball. Not quite at the golf ball, you know, maybe
close.
12, 18 inches over the top of the ball. But what we wouldn't want you to do is use the shore set and have that shoulder plane really flat. That wouldn't be what we're talking about. So a sense of perhaps the lead shoulder working somewhat under the chin, certainly getting between
Yeah.
the chin and the ball at the top.
Yeah. Couple of keys for me, really. There's a visual checkpoint. You should be able to see the tip of your left toe if
Very
you've
good
got enough
checkpoint.
tip. It's a really nice, simple one. And don't follow the shore set with your eyes.
So let's take that first one. When you've made the backswing, make the backswing, you should be able to see the tip of your
Left
lead
foot.
foot.
Exactly.
The left eye should see the tip of your lead foot if you are a right-handed golfer. If you can't do that, you know you've flattened your shoulder plane too much. That's not what we're after.
Correct.
That might be the shore shank, not the shore set. Anyway, let's have you hit one there. So
Okay.
you did say earlier today, typically for you, if we're on the range, it's we've just actually withstood a tremendous downpour here, so
Yeah.
we've got the balls on tees right at the moment, so it doesn't become the shore splat. But you did say in practicing it would be 5 reps, 1 hit. 5
Yeah.
reps, 1 hit.
You can make your own ratio up, but I like 5 to 1. It seems to be the right number for the majority of people. Feel free to go a little bit more to start off with, but then maybe reduce down a little, maybe down to 4 or 3 once you're a lot more familiar.
Well, let's
That's
see you
the
hit
key.
one there.
Okay.
The ground is soaking wet here.
Should we have a couple of reps before this one?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Like a true student. And we're using this in the configuration right now of this would be in the shoulder turn mode or the shoulder move mode, the body mode. Perhaps we'd say getting the bigger muscles to transport the hands, arms and club up to the top. And I have to tell you, that really does look, the alignments there look wonderful. Anybody would do well to mimic that.
Now, the real key here is to now be consciously focused on replicating that in this early stages. So we address it.
Would you recommend that people perhaps go at less than full speed, maybe gear it down a bit?
I like slow, I like stop at the top, just 2 to feel it. And then the third one, we just let it go.
And that was very good. I mean, to me, it looked like a very good replica of what you did with the shore set. So that would be probably the primary, that would be the first thing to learn. Now, let's say someone struggled with the takeaway, which has been my issue for many a long year. What would you recommend for someone who struggles with the takeaway in terms of where you would start with this ball?
Okay. So this is really the second key to the shore set. It's what I call directional set. It's a term I came up with because I think the direction the club moves in the initial stage has a huge effect on our ability to repeat.
No doubt.
What we've got here is we've got an internal reference point between our upper left arm and chest. All I have to do now is, rather than presetting, I'm actually going to mix that movement in as I start to rotate back.
I love that.
Now the great thing here for me is this is actually going out of my vision at this stage.
Yeah.
I see hundreds of pupils looking at where it is, and what's happened again with his spine, his shoulders have leveled off. And then they stand to the ball and they can't figure out why it's going further inside. So we stand here, get our touch point, and I like to build up. I like to touch and rotate. Touch and rotate. And the great thing here, the tendency of most players, and some good tour players, a little bit inside.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of skill and save involved from there.
You know, you remind me as you do that, Dan, the great, the Hall of Famer Nick Price from Zimbabwe, he said what makes golf so difficult for many people is it's fine when the club's down here because you can see the club, but the moment it goes behind your head, you've got no idea where it is, except with the shore set you do, because you have that reference point in front of you. Now, if you would just set up to that golf ball with the golf club, and then so I'm just getting your distance here. Now I'm going to hand the shore set back to you so you hold it at that angle. I find it fascinating to take the pieces apart here. Wrist cock is that move, sort of a vertical wrist cock finding that touch point. Then there's arm rotation, so show me the arm rotation that goes with it. Good, and then the shoulder turn, and you mix that all together and you get the most superb collection of alignments at the top. Just take that halfway back for me, Dan. People will think we've rehearsed this. Have we rehearsed this? No, we haven't.
No, we don't rehearse.
But you can see with the shore set, if I did, I'll say Photoshop in a golf club, look what a beautiful angle that club would be on. It would be impossible to lay that club off and not know that you were doing it. And I don't like people laying the club off. Absolutely no good at all. So, that being said, that feeling in the backswing there, let's have you hit one that way.
Okay, cool. So if you hold that one for me just a second,
yes.
I'm very habit orientated, so I'm going to stick to my routine with the shore set. So a couple to feel it. I'm a little bit more aware of my wrists now. I'm really starting to learn the blend of wrist, forearm and shoulder.
So it's a building, it's a progression, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's step by step. It's adding a layer at a time. Yeah, it's simple. That's the key. Same again, you know, my awareness is very much now in, how did that feel? Can I replicate it? What am I feeling? It's 2 to get it.
Very good indeed, like that one too. Now let's just say, so that's a very good use of it. I've got one use that I would say stumbled on, which I think is very helpful to me, which I'm going to show the viewers in a
fantastic.
moment. Not just yet though. I've got some balls teed up higher for the driver. If someone was just going to just go through, in case that people haven't seen it on the landing page, how you would choose between using, how you'd have this angle with a wedge, with a 7-iron, with a driver. How would you do that? So I'll give you those 3 clubs.
Okay.
And then we're going to let you lash away with the driver.
Okay.
So we've got the wedge.
Yep.
We've got your 7-iron. We've got your driver.
Perfect. So I think the first thing we have to recognize is the difference between these 3 clubs. It's obvious to see that they're different lengths. But the key is how they affect my stance, in particular my forward tilt or my posture. The more I tilt towards something, the steeper the plane is going to be as I swing back. It's going to be more up and down. The more I stand up and away, the flatter that plane is going to be as I swing. What it doesn't really change is the setting of the shore set. It's identical. It just changes the way in which we rotate the forearms. Wedges, less forearm rotation. A little bit less hinge, kind of gives you the feel. Driver, maximum forearm rotation. You know, remember Hogan, huge forearm rotation with driver at the top of backswing. So, keep it simple. We'll go 9-iron to start off with. We tilt into the 9-iron. If you want to remove the other 2 for me, Martin, that would be fantastic.
Happy to do that.
Thank you, sir.
I got that.
And I'm into 9-iron. 9-iron for me is a little bit of weight left, kind of 60 over to the left, and I kind of condense the stance and just feel like I'm tipping towards the ball. A bit more like a pitching position. So I'm here, I pop that one down, and all we do from here is I start to rehearse my 9-iron swing. What becomes notable is that the left arm is rotating much less, i.e. setting the plane a little more up and down. This plane has to work through my sternum to the ball to give me the most direct line to produce that inline blow. That's really what I'm looking for. So I'm into this one, I'm picturing 9-iron again, getting a sense of it. We're in the right angle here, and I rehearse once, rehearse twice, 3 times. I'm starting to get the feeling. Quickly swap. And straight away, we're in one conscious rehearsal to feel it, and the second one we're going to let it go.
So let's go to the absolute other end of the spectrum now and have you hit a driver and just show the folks how to set up for a driver. Whoops.
Whoop. There we go. So same again, it's just using your imagination a little bit. I know I'm going to be standing further away. I'm in a more upright position. So I take the shore set and I imagine my driver. A little bit more 50-50 with my weight, my right shoulder just a little bit lower than my left. And from here I start to rehearse. As I load up, you can see it's a very different left forearm position. Club's in a slightly different plane, and it's much more applicable to hitting something further away from me. So I wind it up. It's really, I want some time in that backswing to get down to the ball.
How many swings do you think you've made with the shore set?
It would be a guess, but I would say over 100,000 repetitions.
So 100,000. Does it lose its benefit, or do you always get traction with it with your swing, do you think?
Do you know what? For me, it never gets old. It just becomes my friend. It puts me back on track. It becomes my model.
Yeah, and I think that's why you should have, take it to the office, keep it in your golf bag, have it in the car, whatever it would be. It's definitely going to help you play better golf. It's going to give you so many benefits. Now, there is one other benefit that I stumbled upon. There are 2 settings on here, and I've put this one on the other setting.
Number one.
The number 1 setting, which as a matter of fact, would give a player less wrist action.
Very good.
Now, when would you need less wrist action? If you were trying to hit an accurate wedge, When would you need less wrist action with the driver? Perhaps if you had a really, really tight drive. The great Ken Venturi talked about putting your wrists in splints when you've got to hit it absolutely straight. Easy to understand, hard to feel. But if you put this on the #1 setting, you would begin to have, I'd call it almost a second serve off the tee, one that's more likely to get in play. Still the same amount of turn, but not as much wrist action and not as much down cock on the way down. So Dan, how do we hit it farther? How do we use the sure set for transition? You've got the big dog there.
I have.
Let's talk about how you would transition from a wonderful backswing into a lovely start to the downswing and how that helps the golfers.
So this is really one of the most pivotal points of the golf swing.
No doubt.
If we can get it in the slot in transition, uncoil the body in the right way, we can get effortless power. That's
Effortless
really the
power.
key.
I like that.
They're very good. So let's get down to it. We've learned how to sequence our takeaway. We're loading up, and from here, the real key is that it's actually a very small move. We don't move very far with the hands. We're looking at a movement of about 6 inches with the right arm, right hand. So we load it up. We actually move our weight to maximum left side, and we just let the right arm fall about 6 inches. The one real thing I want you to notice here is the direction of my thumbs. My thumbs are not trying to get the club back down to the ball. They are saying, I'm going to stay behind you and give you time to uncoil and hit your shot.
Can you just do one thing for me there? You said behind, take it to the top. Let me make a point that is, will help the purchasers of the sure set. It's a hot button for me as a teacher. Bring it down. You said keep the club behind. Behind, he said behind. And so it should be. Look, if I Photoshop that shaft in, that club head is behind his body. There is so much gobbledygook about get the club out in front of your body. The sure set will bury that where it should be buried, never to be found again. So the club head is behind your body there. Pump that up one more time, Dan, and you can see what a beautiful plane that will move down on. This can be yours because you've purchased the sure set. All it takes is some sensible reps. Now, regarding the reps, do that one more time because we're going to have you smash one more driver. Regarding the reps, can we be casual or do we have to be engaged?
I think we can change the spectrum as we go, but I would definitely say be engaged.
Right.
Be as aware as you can of all the new sensations that are coming into you.
Well said indeed. It isn't going to do it for you. As you're doing it, it will help you develop a feel, but you still have to soak that up like a sponge.
Definitely, that's a great way to put it. Soaking it up is the key. The more you rep it, the easier it's going to be to soak that up. But it's just a little bit of awareness. You will get to a stage where, oh, it's real easy. I just do it over and over and over. It's automatic. But in the initial stages, definitely be very, very aware of what you're feeling.
All right, a couple of transitions, then I'm going to give you the beast here, and you can launch one more. And that is full body engagement there, isn't it?
It's pretty big, yeah. It's about as big as I can go.
Okay, here we go.
So now, want to feel it.
I'm going to say that will work.
That'll work, yeah. It just felt like I had a heap of time in transition. Golf is not about absolute perfection. It's about a sensation that you can manage, you can play with, and something that gives you that baseline, something to go back to. Get rid of the confusion, have something you can feel on a regular basis, go play golf.
Use the sure set on a regular basis and expect with certainty to play better. Well, now you have it, now you know how to use it, and if you do, it's a promise from me, it's a promise from Dan Frost. Use diligently, you will hit it more consistently, you will hit the ball more distance, and you will be the envy of the people who are playing against you. Go to sureset.com to visit videos from Dan, from me, to help you complement the use of your sure set. It is bound to help you play better. Remember, sureset.com. Thanks for purchasing the sure set. Use the sure set, play better golf. Tell your friends if you want to.